The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong. Revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Town hall meeting in Roswell tonight. So many packed City Hall, the fire marshal had to shut the doors.
The Republic agrees with everything the minister says. You might be in a cult. We're not in a cult. Not as a party. Matter of fact, if everybody in your church agrees with everything the minister says, you might be in a cult. We're not in a cult. Not as a party. Agrees with everything the minister says, you might be in a cult. We're not in a cult.
We're not gonna quit. Fight, fight, fight.
Here.
My heart.
Here.
Telling the truth. But that's, unless they're lying to me, and you can say they are, so who? Okay. So apparently you know more than I do, so that's fine. I don't know what you're here to hear me for.
What's up, everybody? This is JG.
See, you got jokes. You got jokes.
Well, it took me a couple of hours to put that together yesterday.
Listen, you got to laugh to keep from crying, right? We have to bring some lightness to the situation, right?
Yeah.
You can't be serious every time.
No. I did that one, but you see how I made it serious at the end, though.
Yeah.
What these people are on, what time they're on. So, you ain't introduce yourself. I said, "What's up, everybody? I'm JG. I'm waiting for you."
I'm sorry. I'm Tanisha Mercer. Hello, everybody.
And we are today in Black America. How we doing, Tanisha?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
I'm good. It was good. It was good. Very productive. About to get ready for my next trip. So we do apologize. We starting a little bit later than we wanted to. We was trying earlier, but we kept having the utmost technical difficulties ever. Even just to get this going, we had technical difficulties.
Exactly. We did.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're here now.
I am home, guys. I'm home. I'm just not in my office. I'm in what I created to be a lounge area in my house. So that's why my background is looking a little different. Tanisha says she's tired of y'all looking at her white walls in the kitchen. Yeah, so
the plain walls is like no, and it's also 10 p.m. here, so it's late. I said I looked at the video last week when it was real late, and I was like, yeah, I was looking like a sleepy crackhead. So I had some coffee. I'm like, okay, we got to get it going, right?
You gotta get it going, right?
Yeah.
You was not looking like no crackhead. So
I don't know. I was looking like I was getting ready to fall asleep.
What we're going to do is we're going to let y'all know. So today is Monday, and we are not going to talk about 47.
No,
We're
not at all.
About 47. We have other topics, and we came to a conclusion Tuesdays and Thursdays because it starts with his first initials. And he gives us enough news for 2 days. So we said, okay, we're going to talk about 47 on those days. On these days, let's talk about what's going on in America below that level of, because he raised his blood pressures, man. Whew.
Man, he'll have you stroking out, like for real, like.
I mean it. So let's get on to some very good, interesting topics. If y'all haven't heard already, I'm sure a majority of y'all heard, and we just want to give our takes on the situation. First and foremost, let's give a rest in peace to the late Miss Violetta Wallace, also known as the Notorious B.I.G.'s mom, Christopher Wallace's mom.
Yeah,
she passed away last week. Apparently, she was in hospice care for a while, so she's no longer suffering. That is the best part of her transition, that she's not suffering. We're sad that she's left, but a lot of people has always said, at least she's with her son now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, just really sad. I mean, she passed away. The announcement of her passing was on Friday while we were on air. Actually, I saw her passing as soon as we got off air, and it's like, man, would have loved to get some justice for her to have seen some justice for her son.
Well, yes, we would love to have seen that. Once LA police realized it wasn't one of their own, they didn't give two cracks no more. So, but I mean, she got some closure to a point where I guess her heart got the closure. Like, somebody took my son away from me over foolishness.
Right.
So I guess she figured like she did the best she could do. She made sure his name lived on and rings on, like, seriously. Enough props to her. She was the estate of Biggie Smalls, not Diddy, not Faith Evans. Miss Violetta Wallace was the estate. Now it's passed down to his two children, and I hope they do right. I hope that they learned from their grandmother and do right by his estate.
Yes. His kids are fairly young, right?
They're in their 20s. Tiana might be close to her 30s, if not entering 30, and CJ should be coming up on 30. He's definitely coming up on 30.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And then let's give another shout out on another rest in peace, but let's play this real fast.
I watch you all the time. There's no question about it.
It was 1984 when E.T. first caught up with Roberta Flack during a sit-down with fellow musician and songwriter Stevie Wonder.
Go ahead.
My feeling is, number one, we're friends.
I have been asked if I would do duets with Stevie. My answer is always I would. I think what you have to be very careful of today in '84, since duets are, that's the state of the art. You have to be very careful about becoming involved in what is now the trend.
By then, she'd already won 4 Grammys, making history as the first artist to win Record of the Year 2 times in a row.
I'd like to thank the world. I don't listen to music.
Why not?
I make it. The first time.
All right.
Wow. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Miss Roberta Flack. And honestly, Tanisha, for some reason, guys, forgive me. Please forgive me. I thought she was gone already.
Yeah, no, she was still here. I think probably she had a lower profile in the last recent years because I don't remember her speaking out a whole lot, She was, how old was she? 88? She was in her
1937, so she was in her 80s.
She was in her 80s, and yeah, she was pretty quiet probably toward the end of her life. So that may be the reason why you thought she had already, transitioned.
Because the way when you got people here, I love Roberta Flack, and no new music.
Right.
I know she was a frequent collaborator with Donny Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
They even try to say that they had something going on together, which they didn't. If they did, it was in private, and that's their business.
Right.
She, when the Fugees came with "Killing Me Softly," that remix, and I know she made a ton of money on that damn remix. Lauryn Hill killed that remix.
Yeah, Lauren, definitely.
What you want to call it, but
yeah.
So you didn't hear her speak up on it or nothing. So it was just like, I didn't know she was still here.
Yeah.
And now she's not here. I wish I would have known in a way that we maybe, I would have been like trying to, hey, Miss Roberta Flack, can we interview you?
Exactly. An icon, a legend,
Yeah, I mean, for her low profile and all that stuff, that would have raised our profile, obviously. But I mean, things happen the way they happen, unfortunately. So
I mean, 1937. She was born in 1937. That's a long time ago,
That is a long
right?
time.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of history, Black history, right?
She went through civil rights and everything.
Exactly, exactly.
She saw a
Yeah,
whole lot of change.
she really did. She saw a lot, a
So
whole lot.
that's like I said, that came in today. So we wanted to make sure we acknowledge that. And on to other news. Let's cover this one. This one I wanted to cover last week, and it slipped my brain. So let me pull this up. As Dr. Rashad Ritchie would say on his show, what do you say? Put them up, full max. It's all love and respect over here. Then what's my man, Roland Martin? Put it on my iPad.
Right. Listen, we're gonna come up with we gotta come up with your saying, right?
Put them up full max.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but
Classmate in
we're gonna figure it out.
with taunts about her family being deported. CNN's Ed Levendera spoke with the victim. Town is now under investigation. An 11-year-old girl died by suicide after her mother says she was bullied at school by a classmate in Gainesville with taunts about her family being deported. CNN's Ed Levendera spoke with the victim's mother.
These are the videos Jocelyn Carranza's mother can't stop watching. A happy young girl playing and laughing. These were the days before Marbella Carranza got the call that her 11-year-old daughter was being rushed to the hospital. Marbella says in that moment she felt the world crashing down on her. Her death, she says, has left her broken and searching for why this happened to Jocelyn. Medical teams tried to save her life, but she died 5 days later. Marbella says several days after her daughter's death, a school official told her that Jocelyn was bullied by a classmate at the Gainesville, Texas Intermediate School. Marbella says that another student was traumatizing her daughter, saying that because her parents were immigrants, that they were going to be deported and that she was going to be left alone.
That's crazy.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom. How does that affect you, hearing that?
I mean, I can't imagine it. You can see just her face and the look of anguish on her face. The woman, she looked like she aged 20 years overnight. And I can't imagine it. And I don't ever want to imagine it, especially a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying in any age losing a child is difficult, but I think that the circumstances, of her being teased, probably the torture she faced in school and not being able, the girl is 11 years old, it's just incredibly sad. It really is. Like, no child should have to go through, and no parent, no family should have to go through that.
Just because your nationality is different.
Right.
That little baby had a beautiful smile, and that smile is forever taken away from us, from her mom.
Yep.
And it's wild because it's like, since this whole administration got in office, those who are racist up the ante a lot.
Absolutely.
And those who, kids are mean. Kids are mean. And I'm sure they didn't just think about that by themselves. Like, we're just going to mess with this little girl. They had to get some teaching from somewhere, and it starts at home. If the school knew she was being bullied by these kids, why didn't you intervene?
Schools don't really, that's the thing. They don't really do anything. I'm surprised the mother was able to find out, because her daughter probably never came to her and told her, told her family.
Even if she's running to an administrator and a teacher, why didn't the teacher bring it up to the administrator? Why didn't they bring it up to somebody that would say, hey, my child, this child in my class, I was going to say my child, but some teachers look at these kids as their own. This child in my class is being bullied because XYZ. Can we do something about this?
I think, these administrators, schools, they are supposed to be the first responders, right? And so, in terms of first reporters, right? If they hear of an issue involving abuse, right? And when it comes to bullying, bullying is abuse.
And they're
It's
so slow to tell you that.
exactly, it's abuse. So you would hate to think that a teacher knew or school administrator knew about this and didn't do anything.
It's cheaper to alert the parents to remove the bullying. It's cheaper to do that. To remove the bullying. If it means expelling that child, expel that child, because that kind of behavior should never ever be tolerated. Then now you're going to face a possible lawsuit for neglect of a student's emotions.
Exactly.
Whether she is going to get deported or not, you're still liable for that child's death, regardless if she unalived herself in the situation, which is sad. But the emotional trauma and damage that was created by the school, and not by the school, but by that kid at the school, which it turned out to be a hostile environment for her.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
And you got to think too, whoever did the bullying, right? Where'd they learn that from? They learned it from home.
They learned it from home.
They learned it from home because they learned it from home.
And they should be held reliable too.
Yep.
But we're talking about a town that's probably 30 to 40 miles outside of San Antonio. I might have passed through that town without even knowing. But I'm going to be honest with you. So it gets poorer once you get past like certain parts of Texas.
Does it? Is it primarily, do you remember, is heavily Latino?
A lot of them, yeah. A lot of them Latino and white. Not a whole lot of, I don't see a lot of us.
Okay.
So I would say more Latino and white. There's some schools we passed by. When I say we, usually I have like some help with me, like either it was with my little cousin or, one of my guys that help me out from time to time. Okay. A lot of times we pass by those small towns. We see these kids getting out of school, they're walking and they're all Latino.
Okay.
So it could have been a kid from, that has his papers and picking on this kid that don't have their papers.
Exactly. We don't know. We don't know.
I would like to know. And
right.
Of course, they're not going to release the name of the child that did the bullying or the race of the child. So if they did or somebody did, let us know so we can put that kid on full blast. I'm sorry, but that's messed up, man.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. They're going to protect the kid because they're a minor, right, by law. But the kids know. The kids always know the tea. They always know. The kids know who did what.
They know.
They know.
All right, so let's get moving forward. Trevor Noah created a spark of anger, and he also created a spark of, yeah, you're right. So let's play. Let me gear up this clip right here. Okay.
And I mean anything that does not fit into a category. I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. Is able to do it. I'll put myself out personally and say, and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being two things. Because I know in America, people are like, well, move. Like, and now I'm separating two things. Because I know in America, people are like, well, of course, I mean, there was racism and there was segregation. And I go, yeah, no. I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away. Because I'll put myself out personally and say, I think whether we're talking about gifted kids who are anomalous, let's say, to the norm, whether we're talking about, and I mean anything that does not fit into a category, I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland?
Okay. For those of you who don't know, Trevor Noah made a statement that segregation, United States, end of segregation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tanisha. Messed up the progress of Black people, or
Yeah,
desegregation messed up the
he was.
progress of Black people.
Yeah, he was kind of inferring
Integration.
integration. Yep,
Yes,
integration. Yep.
and I feel the same way. I'm not going to lie. I feel the same way, and I understand where he's coming from. And the reason why I feel the same way is because out of integration, we did get civil rights, but that came at a bloody cost. Out of integration, we got the death of the Black man in the family unit from integration. It was like a trade-off. It was like, well, let's figure out a way to get the Black man out of the household to make these men weaker. So integration did bring a lot of good and positive, but Trevor Noah coming from apartheid South Africa, where it was legal to segregate, this was their law, not their moral code or not their unspoken code that they do. Like in the South, it was Jim Crow, where it wasn't legal, but it was a practice that they had. We're talking about where your Black ass got your ass beat, arrested, and killed in jail because you crossed the line. So
exactly.
So when he's speaking of integration in America, he's like speaking on his personal experience. He, for one, had to be hidden because the singer Twala, right?
Yes.
She identifies as what, Black and colored?
Yeah, she identifies, I think it's colored, which, in South Africa is the term for multi-racial, right?
Correct. So they treat them as to being close to whiteness, but they're not white. So
they're a different class.
They're a different class. They're like in the middle between white. This is during apartheid. So they're in the middle between white. So it's white, colored, Black.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So they gave them a little step up, but a lot of step down. So Trevor said that he was hidden by his mom because his dad is white. And they would have took him away from his mom so he could be raised to look down at Black people.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So you got to know, for me personally, when he's speaking on this, you got to ask, where is he coming from with this? Everybody's looking at, this is America. Dr. King did this. Malcolm X did this. Da, 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 da. Okay, yes, they did a lot of things, but Nelson Mandela went to jail for 27 years and freed the whole country.
He did.
From oppression. It's a big difference between Dr. King. Dr. King allowed us, fought for our civil rights, but he didn't free us from oppression. And that's what he's saying. Integration is still causing oppression. Black men get killed by police. That's an oppression. Black women get killed by police. That's an oppression. Black children gets killed by police. That's an oppression. There's no assimilating to it. There is no way to make it look pretty. It is what it is. Integration still did not stop oppression.
Right.
And that's what he was saying. Separate the racism from the segregation, from the oppression. The oppressed is you can't get certain jobs. Well, we can get certain jobs because of DEI. And what's the other one that was taken away from us? It always slips my mind. I don't know.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action. Thank you.
Affirmative action. Yep.
Because of those two things.
But that's the thing. Like, we're now in the political climate, right? With the attacks on DEI, attacks on diversity programming, any kind of diversity initiatives. It's a rollback, right? These folks want us to go back to the Jim Crow era. You had D.L. Hughley, comedian and radio host, D.L. Hughley, who came out and was very critical of Trevor and his comments, basically saying this man is from South Africa. What does he know? Trevor's opinion is going to be different because of where he comes from.
he does know racial segregation.
Exactly.
See, if a black man from the North, and we found that out with Emmett Till, he was a young boy from the North in Chicago that went to visit his family in the South, and it was two different things. So a black man, how old is D.L. Hughley? If he's close to 60, so he was born during civil rights, right?
Yeah.
If he is from the North, his take on civil rights is going to be a lot different from somebody born the same year, same month in the South.
Right. I think DL is from Chicago, right?
I don't know. I don't
know. Is he from Chicago or LA? No, I think maybe California. My bad.
Still different.
Yeah, still very different.
Still but you
very
still
different.
went through civil rights abuse. Yes. California police was beating the shit out of black men. That's why the party was started.
Yeah.
So just because somebody's from somewhere else doesn't mean that they don't know. You can't discredit them from not knowing, Like if I just came off the plane from Jamaica and I sit here and talk about segregation, integration, and all this stuff, then you cuss my ass out because I don't know.
Right. I think DL got offended a bit. His reaction was one, he seemed to be upset. And I think it's a broader conversation we need to have. On the surface, I agree with Trevor. Like, integration was meant to, and this is not to disrespect anyone's legacy, right? But we even know that Dr. King, toward the end of his life, realized that there were some other things that needed to be at play.
Yes. And we had an offline pseudo discussion, and I said Malcolm X also. But Malcolm X, he preached it in the beginning. He said, "Unto the black man, unto the black man, to the black man, to the black man." In majority of what he said in statements, right? Until the black man gets this, until the black man gets that. But what he had come upon was Islam isn't hate. Islam isn't isolation. It's inclusion in love. The natural practice of Islam is inclusion in love. So his philosophy changed, and that's when he was taken from us. Dr. King, his philosophy changed. He became more militant towards the end of his life. And he was taken from us. So when this man is speaking, let's not be upset with Trevor Noah. He's not the South African we need to be mad at. The one that we need to be mad at is running around in the damn White House. That's the South African we need to put our anger towards, not Trevor Noah.
Exactly.
Not Trevor Noah. And I just want to go 1 or 2 more minutes on this topic. I remember watching this ABC town hall with President Mandela when he was released, right? And somebody asked him about how can blacks in America whatever the case was. And Nelson Mandela, I'm just paraphrasing, but I'm not saying verbatim. He basically says to the point of until not saying, he never said until blacks did this and that. He said blacks have to come together and always fight together to get the answers that they are seeking. That is why Black Lives Matters was formed, because although we fought together, we stopped fighting as one. We just kept fighting in little units and patches. You know what I'm saying? And then when the BLM movement came along, that's when we all like, oh shit, that's when we came together. So President Mandela basically broke it down. It's out there. It's out there. But the statement was more powerful. The guy was kind of upset. I'm like, why are you upset? Because this man, 27 years, my G. 27 years. Robin Island. And before that 27, he was about to go to arms for his country.
Right.
We have not yet set that standard.
Right.
Can't be upset with a man for saying what he's saying. Because he saw what a man did he saw what one man with his team behind him, how it changed his life, gave him the opportunity, and they still didn't integrate really.
Right. Still didn't. And they still haven't. I was in South Africa over the summer, and apartheid South Africa is still very much in play.
The whites not in power.
They are not in
Talk about
power,
the
but
segregation laws. Yes.
they're not in power, but there is. I think we have the fortune, being Black American, of there
Mhm.
being a Black middle class. You can see doctors, you can see lawyers, you can see people of all different professions, right?
Yes.
We see that. When you go to South Africa, you do not see that. You don't see that as much. You
Mhm.
also don't see I went to Cape Town,
Mhm.
and I can only speak for Cape Town. But all I can say is that some of the township areas near Cape Town is where we tend to live. Now, when you want to go out to the Stellenbosch, the vineyards, and some of the beautiful, mountains, Tabletop Mountain, and and the safaris and all that,
Mhm.
that's like 2 hours away. You don't see that. That's the more wealthier areas. You don't see anybody who looks like us. The only people you see look like us are employees, and the most of the employees are colored.
Okay.
So it's very different. I think they are still trying to um society wise. This is why you have people like Elon Musk, because their society, you just don't see as much. I just did not see. Again, I was there for a week, so I'm not saying I'm the expert, but
Yeah,
I did not see people. I just didn't see us in these wealthier areas at all.
we're not going. So it takes how many generations to get on those mountains? Let's just say two. Okay, and you lose it
Yeah.
on the third. So the Afrikaans, those who were already stinking rich, pretty
Right.
much just on these
Stolen
mountains,
wealth
stolen
and
wealth.
land. Yep.
Um, you switch up, right? You switch gears, right? So if being poor doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect you, because I've seen videos on documentaries with the white people who was quote unquote white trash. They're living below poverty, way below poverty,
Mm-hmm.
because of what acts and deeds. They had the Stolen Land Act that they passed in South Africa. So those people are being like, I don't want to say forced or kicked off of land, but if you got it by ill means, then it's not your land. It's the people that it's the original people there, the
Right.
indigenous people's land.
Right.
So the government is being hit with that. That's why Trump was like, "Hey, y'all come over here, come up, bring your racist ass over here. I got something for you. I got
Yep.
something for you. I got something for you for Steve Biko. I got
Right.
something for you for Nelson Mandela. I got something for you. Okay, bring your
Yep.
racist ass over here. I got something for you. But a lot of them said no. They're fine where they at because America is not the place to be.
Right.
So I give that. I get what you're saying. Like like the people. So what I want to say is, it takes about 3 generations to get to that type of wealth. So a lot of Africans are making great strides. Is not being shown. You got to remember, you still got the class system in place sometimes.
You do.
Um,
You do.
so that kind of that's a hurdle that you got to step over yourself.
It is. And I think a lot of times too, when I speak to other Black people in other areas of the world,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, we will say as Black Americans, oh, well, oh, we need to do this and we need to do that or whatever. And I'm not in any way disputing the fact that, we've done a lot in the amount of time that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Given the fact that stolen wealth, stolen labor, stolen land, and I'm saying in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we don't have much more further to go, but when you look at other Black people in other countries,
Mm-hmm.
it it's not the same. Here where I am in France, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same. You don't you don't see as many Black communities. I know if I go back to the US, I mean, I can go to Chicago, I can go to DC, I can go to DMV, I can go to New York, I can go to pockets of Black wealth,
When
right?
you're in a different country, Are you really trying to see black wealth, or are you trying to be in a good, safe area where they're not trying to human traffic your ass?
I think when you're in another country, I think that you're trying to. I mean, you are trying to see that example. There, I'm telling you, there is not that example here. Black Americans are the example for the rest of the world because people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, do you guys got black doctors? Y'all got black lawyers? You have, you know, you know,
But we
um,
fought for that.
Jay being in Atlanta, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, does Black Hollywood really exist? Yes, it does. It
Before,
exists in terms of you got the Tyler Perry Studios, you got Atlanta being the Black Hollywood of the South, right?
mm-hmm.
And you've got Black people who are actively in the industry. You can look at people who look like us, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
are successful in what they're doing. And it's a difference when you go other places, you don't see that as much. I mean, we are really the blueprint. We really are. We really are.
So when people talk about Atlanta and Black Hollywood, before I came to Atlanta, um, there wasn't no Black Hollywood. The first time I seen black doctors in abundance, Atlanta. Black lawyers in abundance, Atlanta. Black educators in abundance, Atlanta. When I speak Atlanta, I'm talking about the whole
The
metro.
whole region, right?
Like car dealers. I'm from the Northeast where, you know what I'm saying, having a Lexus is a big deal.
I was going to ask, where did you grow up? Because I grew up in Detroit, where I grew up. I grew up in a middle class family. My
Mm-hmm.
grandparents' family worked in the auto industry, right? Did very
Mm-hmm.
well for themselves, but they worked hard jobs, right? But I grew up seeing Black politicians. I grew up seeing Black people in business. It
Yeah,
wasn't strange for me where I in Detroit, but that's
yes.
not the case everywhere.
I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut. So you see that Hartford accent come out,
Yeah,
folks.
I hear it. I hear it.
But yeah, so growing up in Hartford, right? If you had a Mercedes Benz, BMW, you used to do it. You was that guy, that woman, you was that ish. You had a Porsche, you was that ish. Like I said, you see black car dealeship owners in Georgia. My eyes got opened, like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't about getting a Lexus no more. It's about getting that Maybach, not the Maybach, but that Mercedes. It wasn't about getting that or the Maserati. You know what I'm saying? It just levels to this, you know, the house, right? So
Yeah.
my brother's house, this is my family. This is my first cousin. So I see his house. I'm like, oh my God, you don't see this. You see it in Connecticut, but these people are hidden. They not in Hartford. You know what I'm saying? They way away from the hood. I'm not saying my brother's house is in the hood. It's not in the hood, but it's in a good neighborhood. And you're like, oh shit, this is my own family. So this dream is attainable.
Atlanta makes everybody want to. It makes you want to level up. Like I lived in Atlanta for 15 years, 16 years. And I always say, like, I was definitely able to make a lot of money in Atlanta, but you're able to see it. Like you said, those big homes, Atlanta, Tyler Perry Studios, Atlanta.
And
You know?
what's crazy, the price tag for his house at the time was $250. Somewhere in the 250 mark. And I'm like, this is what you get for $250,000? Like,
especially coming from the northeast though, because they get you like this much.
I'm not making fun of my childhood home, family. Believe me, I'm not making fun of that home. I love the fact that we was able to be raised up in that house, but compared to what big cuz have, big bro, how you want to, like I said, my first cousin is my sibling. So compared to what he has, like, okay, do I go back to the Northeast to get this box, or I stay down here to get this big ass house?
Exactly.
You know, that was my dream. I was like, okay, I'm here for this. I'm not here for. I seen better. They're teaching me better. You know, not no disrespect to my fam from Connecticut. I'm just saying I'm learning after got out of the service. I'm learning from a man. You know, so that helped. You know what I'm saying? But
And
yeah,
your home in Georgia would cost, like, if you were to buy that same home and where you grew up, it would be like what, twice the price?
twice. It's probably the house. It's probably the price of my house now. And I got it during the market was high.
Okay. Right.
But the price of my house now. So yeah. To get a big ass house in CT, you spending over $500,000. You way over $500,000. And that's my house in Connecticut is probably worth twice. You know, like what I'm trying to say, my house in Georgia. If it was in Connecticut, it'll probably be twice as much as what I pay.
Okay. Wow.
So and it's a high amount.
Right.
So, well, yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, that's Trevor Noah. That's South Africa. Everybody was kind of mad. Some people was, agreed with him. Now, on to other news. Let's bring it up. Put up full mask.
Plans to let go of 1,100 corporate employees. The announcement comes from Starbucks announcing major layoffs with plans to let go of 1,100 corporate employees. The announcement comes from new CEO Brian Niccol as he continues making changes to streamline operations and turn around sluggish sales. Additionally, Niccol says Starbucks is eliminating several hundred open and unfilled positions. Coffee chain has more than 16,000 employees worldwide. Today's layoffs will not include roasters, warehouse staff, or baristas.
Ooh, Starbucks.
Yeah.
Let's
a lot of corporate layoffs. A lot of corporate layoffs. We know we got a lot of government layoffs. It's Starbucks. I mean, 1,100 employees is quite a bit. They're trying to listen. That latte, mocha latte, frappuccino, peppermint mocha, whatever. You know, it's like what, $7, $8? Huh? Exactly. that don't you listen? That it's expensive.
It is.
It's expensive, very expensive.
I can't see myself going out there to pay like $10, $15 for no damn coffee.
And I mean, I brew my own, so and I don't. I
don't even drink coffee. Okay, so that's like, but the fact that those people in corporate is getting, that's where you chop off all the meat first.
Yeah.
It's not the baristas; it's the people in the middle.
Yeah, people in the middle. It's not and for years people worked at Starbucks. I think they still offer it. Maybe they don't because they're saying that this is a cost cutting move, right?
Yes.
They are eliminating some menu items, some frappuccinos, some specialty drinks, right? But for a long time, literally, people would work at Starbucks to get their insurance.
So I want people to understand this, Tanisha, and I think what's going on, they probably thinking, because if they're franchisees, right? The franchisee is not the one that's firing these people. These are people that actually works for the corporate Starbucks. Right. The franchisees has their own corporate settings.
Right.
So it's not where it's like, oh my God, all these. No, that's why they made it clear. The baristas, all these people, they're good. It's the people at top that's making 6 figures for doing practically nothing. Those are the ones getting cut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say practically nothing, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. They're not at the front. They're not the front line. Yes. At least it's not the front line that's being cut. These are these, corporate white collar jobs, right? But yeah, it's another. We talked last week. You got United Healthcare laying off people, buyouts. We talked about it. The government. You've got thousands of job cuts that are coming at one time.
I'm gonna slide this in real fast. I'm gonna slide it in like a high school date. Let me stop.
Okay.
So the FBI had put out a statement. I don't know if you saw it, but they put out a statement saying, "Don't respond to Elon Musk."
Really? Don't respond to him?
Don't respond to that whole Doge firing you, and they put
Oh,
out a statement saying don't respond to it.
the FBI?
FBI.
Oh my goodness.
The G-men said that.
People don't know what to do, you know?
I would listen to the FBI, regardless if Cash Patel been confirmed. I would listen to the FBI
Yeah. It's a lot of
because
confusion.
it's not confusion. Because let me tell you why, guys, and I'm gonna be quick with this. 4 years. After 4 years, they can do what they need to do to get these dudes.
True. It's just that people who I know who work for the government, they're very stressed because they're literally getting different information every single day.
It is very stressful, but
Yeah.
just hang in there.
Yeah.
Hang in there because things are happening that we don't know. The Dems is saying da da da, but once we see it, just hang in there. And like I
Yeah.
said, let's get away from that. Let's get away from that. I
Okay.
just had to slide it in there. Just had to slide it
Yeah.
in.
We'll talk about it tomorrow,
We'll
right?
talk about that one tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So what else we got here? Oh shoot, that's it.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all the topics.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Well, we know we'll talk. We'll have a lot on the schedule for tomorrow for Trump Tuesday.
All right, but before we leave, what I want to do is this. I want to give a shout out to. I want to let's do this 1 second. What I want to do, I want to end the show a little differently than we usually do, in remembrance of the beautiful Miss Roberta Flack. Sorry, y'all can hear that? y'all heard that? My bad. My bad. We don't have no person working in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
We ain't got nobody. Yeah, cue my iPad. Put my iPad. Put him up full mask.
Right.
We ain't got
Listen,
that.
it's
We don't
a
have
one man staff, right?
Yes. It's a one-man staff. So we don't have somebody on the back end just doing that right now.
Right.
But before we do that,
Oh, here we go.
Before we do that, before we leave out on that note, I just want to say thank you to our viewers who are giving me compliments, giving me, but they're giving us, okay? They're not saying, John, you're doing good, Tanisha. No, they're saying we're doing good, but it's being passed to me, okay? I like to say thank you to your brothers who are supporting the show. I'm getting positive reviews. They're liking the show. We appreciate it. And because of you, we're going to keep doing it. We're in it to get this thing popping. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all. What you got?
No, thank you. Thank you for the wonderfully produced show, as I've said it over and over again. I think every show we're getting better and better, right? We're getting more comfortable. You know, we're getting good feedback. It's a labor of love for now.
I'm gonna get Tanisha on point with the production. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some training. I'm gonna need some. Yeah, I'm gonna need some direction and some training.
She doesn't live here in Georgia, so I can't like go and say, "Hey, this is how you do it." But she just gotta, it's practice and getting it together, and she's gonna get it together, guys. So
we're gonna work through it.
She's gonna get it together. So I just want to say thank you. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna be on the road tomorrow, so y'all gonna see me in the car again, wearing something to be comfortable. Don't pick on me. I'll be on the road this week. Hopefully, I can get back in front of a computer by Friday. If not, enjoy. That's all I can say, man. That's all I can say. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Stay black, and we will see you tomorrow.
Put up full mask. I hope they know I only could play a few minutes. I can't even play a whole 4 minutes. I can play like
Okay.
a 1 minute at a time. We ain't got no licenses.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him to listen for a while. And there he was, this young boy, a stranger to my eyes, strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.